Just when you thought the case of Nicola Bulley couldn't possibly get even more bizarre, it actually does. Does anybody remember Blackpool Lane? This was the road in which Nicola Bulley would always start and end her walks. She would walk along Blackpool Lane, up the towpath into the fields, and then back the same way that she entered, back out onto Blackpool Lane. Yet the police constantly and consistently sought dashcam footage from the completely incorrect road. They were seeking dashcam footage from Garstang Road and sometimes Garstang Lane, which doesn't even exist, yet they really needed dashcam footage on Blackpool Lane. Well, in the last 48 hours or so, Google Maps have changed the road name. Now, you can't make this up. You couldn't possibly make this up. It's now changed from Blackpool Lane to Garstang Road. What is also quite interesting is the fact that all historical data concerning this road also appears to have been altered. So it's not just at the current time that it's showing Garstang Road, but when you take a look back through the years, 2013, 2007, 2001, 2000, even back to 1980, it is now listed as Garstang Road. All traces of Blackpool Lane have seemingly been deleted. Luckily, I found a different website, OS Maps, which actually still lists it as Blackpool Lane. I mean, many people would take a look back at my previous videos and think to themselves, what is this lunatic talking about? There's no such thing as Blackpool Lane, it's Garstang Road. I mean, look at the map here, look on Google Maps, Garstang Road. What the hell is this bloke talking about? I can prove to you that this only changed in the last 48 hours. I mean, many people will say, why is it even important? Surely this is just irrelevant. Let me explain to you why this is so critical. And I made this point during the time that Nicola Bulley was actually a missing person. On countless, numerous occasions, during press conferences and press appeals, the police were seeking dashcam footage from the wrong road, the entirety of the investigation.
We also appeal for any remaining dashcam footage that may not yet have been submitted to the police in this inquiry, particularly if people have that relating to the Garstang Lane area of St Michael's. Particularly if people have that relating to the Garstang Lane area of St Michael's. Relating to the Garstang Lane area of St Michael's. As I said Friday, this only leaves the path along Garstang Lane onto the A586, which is not covered by CCTV, but the more of those 700 or so vehicle drivers that we can identify and who can confirm that they have neither dashcam footage or saw anything on that morning will help us to close that very small gap. As I said Friday, this only leaves the path along Garstang Lane onto the A586. Leaves the path along Garstang Lane onto the A586.
Unfortunately, the main entrance and exit to the fields is via the river path, as we refer to it. And that river path goes back to Garstang Road. And that river path goes back to Garstang Road. River path goes back to Garstang Road.
You can even see there through multiple press conferences, it was always referred to as Garstang Road or Garstang Lane. And I mean, my biggest issue was the fact that they didn't actually get any dashcam footage which saw Nicola Bulley on her walk. Now, this road is incredibly busy between 9 and 10 in the morning, yet there was no sign of Nicola. No sign whatsoever. But it makes sense actually when you take a look at where they were seeking that dashcam footage from. Not Blackpool Lane, but Garstang Road and Garstang Lane. Garstang Lane, as I said earlier, doesn't even exist. Yet now, conveniently, Google Maps have actually changed the road name, which now coincides with the police press conferences and press appeals. So no longer is Blackpool Lane, it seems to have completely and utterly vanished even from the historical timeline on Google Maps, and it's now known as Garstang Road, which, as I say, conveniently ties in with what was sought by the police during those press conferences. Now, I have absolutely no idea what the hell is going on here. All that I can say categorically is that that road name on Google Maps has changed from Blackpool Lane to Garstang Road in the last 48 hours. Now, why is that? I mean, a lot of people, particularly those local to the area, have passed some comments and said, well, you know, the locals kind of know that area as Garstang Road. It's kind of all known as Garstang Road, really. I mean, yes, it does say Blackpool Lane there, but all of the locals in the area know it as Garstang Road. But my issue with that, particularly back during the time when Nicola Bulley was actually still a missing person, was that if you had someone who wasn't local to the area passing down Blackpool Lane, maybe using their sat-nav or Google Maps during that time period, they're going to believe that they're on Blackpool Lane. Yet not once during these press conferences was Blackpool Lane ever mentioned. It was not like they said, we're looking for dashcam footage on Garstang Road. It may also be known as Blackpool Lane, but it's the area by the footbridge. That's the area where we need dashcam footage. It was always Garstang Road and Garstang Lane. Blackpool Lane wasn't even mentioned until 3 weeks after this lady went missing. I mean, many people will probably watch this video and say, well, hang on a minute, does Blackpool Lane even exist? Is it even a real road? Just take a look at the following here.
So Nicola came, parked up her car here. She dropped off her kids at school. She would have taken her dog Willow out of the car park, as she normally did, and walked her along this path next to the car park of the tennis club and the school, and along the school.
Spin round if you want to have a look rather than, yeah, there we go. So,
and this is a very normal route for Nicola. Almost every single morning, this is exactly what she would have done. Her kids coming to the school to our left as well. And this is a busy road. In Skip down there is where the family home is, so she would have come down this road and then onto the road up there, a very busy main road.
This is Blackpool Road?
Yeah, Blackpool Lane it is, yeah. And the police have stressed about Blackpool Lane because there are hundreds of cars.
700 vehicles?
Yeah, that would have passed through that morning. And so they are clear, they want to try and speak to every single one of those drivers to get as much the road up there, a very busy main road.
This is Blackpool Road?
Yeah, Blackpool Lane it is, yeah. And the police have stressed about Blackpool Lane because there are hundreds of cars.
700 vehicles?
Yeah, that would have passed through.
Good afternoon everyone that's just joining. James Holt here from the Manchester Evening News. Just here in St Michael's on Wire this afternoon, where there's a significant police presence and multiple roads closed in the area, close by to where missing mum Nicola Bulley was last seen. So I'm just going to turn the camera around. So I'm here on Blackpool Lane, and that's the junction there with Rawcliffe Road. So as you can see, there's a couple of police vehicles.
So you can see at the top of the screen, they're turning to Rawcliffe Road. So he must have been standing where it says A586 around there. Well, obviously we're on the road, but now, as you've seen, the whole road says Garstang Road.
One point I do wish to make is that not only were the police seeking dashcam footage from Garstang Lane and Garstang Road during the entirety of this investigation, during the time in which Nicola Bulley was actually missing, they were actually seeking dashcam footage from a totally irrelevant time period. Now that cannot be ignored, that cannot be erased, that cannot be taken away from the factual evidence regarding this case. They were constantly seeking dashcam footage for between 9:10 and 9:15, a time in which they believed Nicola Bulley was actually in the upper field, nowhere near Blackpool Lane, nowhere near Garstang Road, Garstang Lane, or any road whatsoever. They were seeking dashcam footage not only from an incorrect location, but also a completely and utterly irrelevant time period. Just listen to the following here.
And we've now identified around 700 vehicles that drove through the village on that morning, on the 27th of January at around 9:10, 9:15. And we're in the process of speaking to all of those drivers to try and find out if they have any dash cam footage. what they saw on that day, or anything else that may be of value to the police inquiry.
I have to be honest, I have absolutely no idea what is taking place here. All that I know in terms of facts is that that road was known as Blackpool Lane until around 48 hours ago. For whatever reason, that has changed. Also, the historical data, as I mentioned earlier, has all been removed. If you go back a year, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years on Google Earth, Blackpool Lane no longer exists. All I know in terms of facts is that every single press conference, every single press release, the police constantly sought dashcam footage from Garstang Road. Yet when Nicola Bulley was actually missing, that road was known as Blackpool Lane. For some reason, it is now known as Garstang Road, the very same road that the police appealed for dashcam footage from during the investigation. Make of that what you will. Please leave your own thoughts and theories down in the comments section below. As always, I really appreciate you checking out today's video. If you enjoyed it or found it helpful, please do give it a thumbs up down below and subscribe to the channel. And I look forward to seeing you all again for the next one. Take care. Cheers.